नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. Hare Krishna everyone. So we are discussing the first two shlokas of chapter 3, that is Karma Yoga, wherein Arjuna has placed this question in front of Krishna asking, why are you telling me two things? You're simply confusing me. My intelligence is getting bewildered. And also he said, when you yourself have stated that Buddhi Yoga is better than Karma Yoga, then why are you even engaging me in this ghastly warfare? So seems like a logical question, but it isn't. Because there is actually no contradiction in what Krishna has placed in front of Arjuna. It is simply that Arjuna, because he already has made up his mind, he does not want to fight, he is simply backing it up with Krishna's selected words. So this is a classic situation for people who give the lame excuse of spirituality to escape from their material prescribed duties. So sometimes people say, oh, I've become a spiritualist, I'm going to renounce everything, I'll go into the forest, I'll just sit and do my japa, I'll do my swadhyaya. I'm not going to go into the world, I don't have to earn money, I don't have to provide for my wife and children, I don't have to take care of the family. So this is selective filtering. So if anybody gives a lame excuse of that, I'll just take care of my spirituality, but I'm not going to play my role of the prescribed duties performance, then he's simply an escapist. And likewise, exact opposite of that, if somebody gives the lame excuse that I'm so busy performing my material role, all the different roles, that I have no time to engage in spiritual activities, he is equally an escapist as well. So that is what Arjuna's understanding of performing Buddhi Yoga. He is thinking Buddhi Yoga means give up everything, falsely renounce, go somewhere in a secluded place, sit down and just do some meditation and not have to do his role as a Kshatriya, that is of establishing Dharma. But actually that is not the understanding at all, because Krishna is going to say, Mam anusmara yuddhyacha, there is no escaping from Yuddha, you have to do Yuddha, that is your prescribed duty. But how should you fight? Mam anusmara, think of me and fight. So as you are remembering me, you do your prescribed duty. That this is a very clear instruction for all of us. Because sometimes people come to us and ask, how do I balance material and spiritual life? I think the question itself is wrong. Why do you have to balance something that you know isn't right? Like material life, a little bit of poison is also poison. So when material life itself is something that is going to entangle you here and keep you from going back home, back to Godhead, why would you want to keep performing material activities? The solution is not to balance material and spiritual, is to integrate material and spiritual, in fact to spiritualize everything. So if Arjuna simply fought, then it is a material activity. To think of Krishna is a spiritual thing. So Krishna is not separating the two. He is not saying you do material role of fighting. He is not telling you simply do your role of remembering me, practicing devotional service. He is telling integrate both. You think of me, and as you are thinking of me, you fight. So this is what we all need to follow, and we should not fall into this trap. And if anybody comes with you, either of the excuses, immediately you know he is not actually a spiritualist. He hasn't understood the principles as they are laid out in Bhagavad Gita. So now let us get into this very beautiful understanding of what does Bhagavad Gita unravel to us in the following chapters, in the chapters that are going to come forth. So now in this chapter it's Karma Yoga, in the next fourth chapter it's going to be Jnana Yoga, in sixth chapter it's going to be Ashtanga Yoga, then the middle 6 chapters is going to be Bhakti Yoga. So now how do we understand? Like somebody, if they just read this chapter, they may think, oh yeah, Karma Yoga is great, Krishna himself is prescribing it, so let me jump on the bandwagon of Karma Yoga. But this is not the ultimate. It is significant, but it is not the ultimate. So there is this beautiful yoga ladder. It is not a horizontal thing, it's a vertical thing. And there are 7 rungs on this yoga ladder. And let us begin with the 3rd rung from the bottom up. And that 3rd rung is called Karma Kanda. We briefly touched upon this in chapter 2, but let's revisit this. So what is Karma Kanda? Karma Kanda, a person who is at this level, he does accept scriptures. He does accept authority in the form of demigods. He does have the desire for material enjoyment, but those desires he does not whimsically fulfill. He regulates those enjoyments, and even for that regulated enjoyment, he performs certain prescribed sacrifices, ritualistic ceremonies to please certain demigods, and in return, the demigods being pleased with his worship, they will also bestow upon him certain benedictions. Like for example, you want a good husband, you could pray to Lord Shiva. You want a good wife, you could pray to Mother Parvati. You want money, you can pray to Kubera. You want some obstacles to be removed, pray to Ganesha. You want good learning, knowledge, education, go to Saraswati. And there is Lakshmi Devi. There are so many different demigods for different things that you need. So here you have to remember that there is work that he is interested in, but there is also the results of the work which he is also interested in, and as a result, this work plus result is binding him. And when he does these good things, he is accumulating piety, punya, and when he does those that are not authorized by the scriptures, he is accumulating papa, impiety. For good piety for the piety that is accumulated, he'll go up the material world planetary systems, the 7 higher planetary systems, Swarloka, Bhuvarloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Brahmaloka. And for the impiety, he may also visit the lower hellish planetary systems, Tala, Vitala, Sutala, Tala, Tala, Patala. So this is the Karma Kanda section. So he accepts scriptures, he goes to the temple, but he goes with a long list of wishes. He worships demigods, accepts authority. He also engages in sense enjoyment, but regulated sense enjoyment. So in Vedic times, most of the people came under this category. They came at least at this category. Of course, there were people who were at a higher level also, but this was the basic minimum in Vedic times. Now, what about in Kali Yuga? So that I will tell you in the next video. Most of the Kali Yuga products on which rung of the ladder we fall under, that we will talk about in the next video. See you very soon. Hare Krishna.